Hey everybody, welcome to Shifty's Club today. I'm going to talk about the current format and a bit about what's going to be coming up in the next set. Guys, first I want to get up that I was on the TCGO today, and a lot of guys noted that there weren't a lot of YouTubers that they wanted to see because none of them delivered quality content or the content they wanted to see. So what I told them, what I asked them was what they wanted to see, so I could get a kind of an idea. And then I told them that I'd probably post the video. Today's the Tuesday, April 25th. Told them I might just get something up. So here's the something up. If it doesn't come up Tuesday, it'll be definitely Wednesday. So I don't know, guys, when this is going to get uploaded. But as I told them, give me about a week after Roanoke Regionals, and because I need to test for the tournament, and then once that's over, then I can start asking questions. I can even ask people there how to do all this different stuff on YouTube, whatnot, because I'm not very knowledgeable about all this stuff, like how to do screen capture, whatever that's called, or video capture, where you can record yourself playing the TCGO, and then have a little box to show a picture of yourself. I don't know why someone wants to, look at me, while I'm doing that, unless they just absolutely love looking at my face. But, but anyway, they said they wanted the TCGO battles. They wanted good quality ones with good decks, whether they're metagame or rogue, regardless. They wanna see good quality games. They also want interviews. So I figured, okay, I could probably do a couple interviews. And I don't know how often it's going to be, but I can do them occasionally whenever I can get around to actually interviewing people. So I'll do that whenever I can. But they also said there was a couple people who said that they have seen me in the past, and they do like what I'm doing as far as sitting here and talking to you guys directly, giving you inside information on different rogue decks that can tear the format, or take metagame decks and shift them just a bit so they can become not well they'll become rogue, but the main attackers is still the same, or the concept's sort of the same. It just has a big twist on it. I'll get to that later. But anyway, guys, that's what's going to be coming up. Just to let you know, heads up. So for you guys who are on TCGO, Tuesday, April 25th, that afternoon / evening, whatnot, this is for you guys. This is why I'm doing it. And then you can tell all your friends who need to see this stuff or want to see this stuff. You let me know, because I really don't know much about what I'm doing. All I know is that I know Pokemon and how to play Pokemon, and I love to help people whenever I can. That's what I want to do for you guys. And that's the whole reason I, asked. Because I care a lot about you guys. Even if I don't know you, still care about you and your success in Pokemon. Anyway, let's get started. So, in our current standard format, we have 3 Tier 1 decks. They're Decidueye, Vileplume, Eviltal, and Darkrai. Now, Decidueye Vileplume slowly crept its way up to Tier 1 after Sun and Moon released, and then we had Collinsville, Illinois Regional, and then shortly after a couple more tournaments, the Oceania International Championship got, I think, 4 or 5 top 8 places. Decidueye did. I know one of my boys, Yamato, he actually played it without Vileplume, played kind of a tech pace on it, where he uses different attackers like Mewtwo from Evo, and then stuff like that. I still think Vileplume's the way to play it. Now, as far as that goes, obviously we all know how Decidueye works. You play Force Giant Plants, you just basically evolve in one turn, get up Decidueye, put 20 damage with abilities, just start to pile damage on Pokemon. But of course it makes up for a lack of a decent attack. Of course, a lot of people prefer one way, some prefer the other. A lot of people in Standard are preferring things like Lugia EX, and even what was it? Oh yeah, Trevenant, that's right. I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry, guys. Trevenant EX, I keep forgetting. But that's one of the things that they have is that the Trevenant EX's attack. I was telling someone about this. They took it to a tournament, and I was telling them, well, if you're going to do a whole Decidueye, deal damage to the bench, whatnot, why not run Trevenant EX? Because the thing for one energy is basically going to prevent your opponent's Pokemon from retreating. You can Lysander something and stick it up there forever, and then you can just basically go 20, 20, 20. It's like, pass, 20, 20, oh, this gets knocked out, 20, whatever, pass. While they're item locked, they can't really do anything. While they're getting ability locked, Trevenant's got them locked up in the active spot. And then there's some people who like to play Lugia, try to arrow blast the living crap out of something. I'm not a big fan of the Lugia concept, to be very honest, but when Tapu-Lele GX releases next set, I'll be more than happy to put it in the deck regardless. And there's some people who just like to return Sky Return Shamans and just reuse them and get to their supporters that way, so they can get to all their supporters like their Team Flare Grunts, their Delinquents, different things that can help like tear the opponent's board, whittle their board state. And I understand that. I love the Shaman concept. I definitely don't like Lugia EX as far as just being just an attacker. I like different concepts where you can access the deck better, get better draw. You can play few energy. One of the things that I absolutely love is to play 4 DCE, 4 grass in the deck. I do play Trevenant EX in my build. Now, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it really does help. Once you can get that Lysander, you can get a constant retreat block on your opponent. It makes all the difference in the world. And then another thing you can also do is, with the Shaman EX, like I said, go in Sky Return, and then just use that over and over. Shaman, set up, get what you need, and then try to draw into those supporters. Run more of a thick line of supporters, because now you item locked with Vileplume can't really do much. So that's about how Decidueye is going to work. The next deck is going to be Darkrai EX, turbo style, whatnot. We all know how Darkrai works. You basically just get as many dark energy as you can in play and attack with Dark Pulse on Darkrai EX. Now, obviously, Yveltal and its Oblivion Wing are going to do a little help here, and EXPA share attached to the Yveltal as well. Try to Fighting Fury about the Darkrai EX, try to get stuff up, and I understand that. However, let me suggest an alternative to that. Like I did with Trevenant, my alternative to that is to use Togekiss from Roaring Skies. Now, a lot of you probably going to laugh until you absolutely understand what it does and test it for yourself. What the Togekiss from Roaring Skies does, the full art has an ability, Serene Grace. And what happens is when you play this Pokemon from your hand, evolve one of your Pokemon, you look at the top 10 cards of your deck and choose any basic energy cards you find there. You can attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. The good thing about this is Togepi can evolve via Wally, turn 1, and Togekiss can immediately evolve via Delta Evolution, which I think is pretty cool. And another thing you can also do is you can use Devolution Spray, go right back down with Togekiss, and you can go after even more Darkness Energy, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the difference here is that you're not going to try to draw into the dark and discard like you do with, Dark Patch and whatnot. So there's going to be a few other cards. We have a card, Maintenance. Now, a lot of people are going to laugh at me when I suggest this, but Maintenance will help get those dark energy from your hand into the deck. Shuffle 2 cards from your hand in your deck, draw a card. Even if you draw a darkness energy, you still net a darkness energy back into the deck. So either way, you're putting darkness energy back in the deck for the Serene Grace. Running with Devolution Spray, you can immediately evolve the next turn, get those energy into play very fast. And trust me when I say, with Wally, you can virtually just level ball if you want. I don't know if you want to play level ball. I love the Ultra Ball though. I really do like it. So you can basically just get Togepi, Wally into Togetic, and then draw into Togekiss, and it just makes makes the combo so much easier. And one of the coolest things about this is that I'm going to be having. Sorry, guys. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to be having so many energy on the board that you cannot get rid of it all. Like, you can Lysander, whatnot. Even Slowking can't get rid of that energy. I know Slowking was a thing for a little bit with Sasato and whatnot. I love Slowking to death, but there's no way Slowking can whittle this setup. There's no way Lysander can whittle this setup. Because if you run 14 energy in the deck like I do, 14 darkness energy in the deck like I do, there's really no way that your opponents are ever going to stop you. And that's the thing. You're always going to have 9 or 10 energy on that board, meaning you're doing 210, 230 with a Fighting Fury bout. And that is a lot of damage. But another thing, guys, in that deck, while you play maintenance to get those energy back, you also can play I'm sorry. Sorry, scratch that. While you're playing Devolution Spray, you can also play the Energy Recycler. And what it's going to do is if any energy does go into the discard pile, you can use things like Buddy Buddy Rescue to bring back the Darkrai and whatnot. Forget about shuffling everything back into the deck. Now, I understand that that's kind of crazy in some concept with Super Rod whatnot. However, sometimes it would be more beneficial just to go after it with Togekiss many at a time instead of wasting, like, say, with one Pokemon 2 energy, I could go for one Pokemon, then shuffle up to 5 energy back into that deck. Because in some instances, I'm not going to be able to hold each Pokemon to 2 energy apiece, where you can't choose what to knock out. And even if you do, you can still Lysander knock out this. Take the KO, Lysander knock out this, whatnot. And I'm down possibly 4 or 5 energy. And at that point, I've got to find a way to basically recover that energy. With about 15 cards left in my deck, I can find an energy recycler, put it to 20, get down a Togekiss via like Devolution Spray or something, puzzle a time, grab the top 10, so that's half the deck, try to see if I can't find 2 or 3 energy, swing the board favoring my game, and try to win. So that's another thing you can do with Darkrai. The next deck is going to be Yveltal EX. Yveltal EX is just a solid 20 plus 20 for each energy attached to both active Pokemon, or 90 and move energy from Yveltal EX to the bench Pokemon. And the good thing about this is that you can control damage output. Like with Darkrai, you can control damage output to some degree, but the good thing is you get to do more to more hefty attackers. A lot of the Pokemon with massive counts of energy attached to them are going to do massive amounts of damage, but have very bad energy acceleration. Whereas with Yveltal, you can have excellent acceleration. It's just that you're not going to be running Fighting Fury belts as much because you're going to have, obviously, 4 DCE, but you're also going to have 9 or 10 Darkness Energy. The problem here is that you need to run EXP Share to retrieve that energy. However, Fighting Fury Belt seems to be a popular option, but I would actually opt against the Fighting Fury Belt because a lot of the matchups that you're going to lose, you're going to lose anyway because of that. And it's just going to kind of throw off the match. And enough times, Yveltal will be able to do enough damage to knock out certain Pokemon, but the Pokemon that can knock it out with 170 can also knock it out with 210. Like Mega Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo is going to knock it out every time. The only difference is that Yveltal is not resistant like Darkrai, so Mega Mewtwo's got not too much about which to worry. See, because Mega Mewtwo is doing more damage to it than it's doing to Mega Mewtwo. Same thing with like Mega Rayquaza. While you can deal with 3 energy to Yveltal, 3 to Mega Ray, you can deal 140, 150 damage to Mega Ray, but that's not even come close to a knockout, whereas it's going to deal easy 180, 210 at you with literally no effort with a Skyfield. And there's going to be a lot of tech room needed, to beat Mega Ray, but that depends on whether or not it's going to be good in your format. Now, the real problem is going to be facing Volcanion. Volcanion is probably going to be the hardest matchup, and it's going to get even worse when Tortonator GX releases, because not only does your opponent not have hardly anything about which you can't do, but at the same time, you can literally get destroyed by a baby Volcanion, and that is ridiculous. Fighting Fury Belt onto a Volcanion, 1 energy, power heater. Oh, wait, steam up, steam up, steam up. 110 damage. Sorry, 120 with a Fighting Fury Belt. And that is the worst position in which an Eviltal player can be put, because they're trading 2 for 1 in 2-hit KOs, because there's no way to deal 170 damage to a Volcanion in 1 hit if they only have 1 energy. And that is the worst thing. So Lifestanders are going to have to work well for you, otherwise you're going to have no response to anything. And that's going to be the worst part of the match. And even so, as I say, with Tortonator GX, it doesn't get any better, because it does about the same thing, except it has an amazing GX attack with which to go, and the effect of its first attack puts 8 damage counters if it gets hit. That is ridiculous. Like, you are literally swinging so many matchups in your favor with Steam Up. 1 energy. Okay, 1 energy. Steam Up. 110. Alright, let's see what you can do now. Okay, so you're going to do, okay, let's see, okay, hit 8 damage counters. It's ridiculous with Tortonator GX. But, as I'm saying before, Baby Volcanion just absolutely destroys Eviltal X. That is the biggest problem. So, what I'm going to recommend is that you can avoid Baby Volcanion via either Lysander, or you can take in another Pokemon that can deal with this efficiently. And that Pokemon is going to be Jolteon. Now, I know a lot of people aren't, too thrilled about Jolteon EX playing inside of Eviltal EX, but think about all your bad matchups. All of your bad matchups, with the exception of Mega Mewtwo, are at a basic dex, big basic dex. And it doesn't get any easier, because things like Darkrai, just a tech Darkrai EX, can completely twist your Mega Mewtwo matchup, because you don't have as many energy with which to worry. You can virtually just leave all the energy on the bench, hit once, and then retreat into the Eviltal EX, finish up, and if your opponent doesn't have a response, you could swing the game easily. But with Volcanion, it's much harder, so something like Rainbow Energy Jolteon could work, or another thing you could also do, since Volcanion does run, 3 or 4 Volcanion EX, chances are they'll run Hoopa, Shaymin, Skyfield, stuff like that. You could even think about running Salamence EX, although I probably wouldn't consider it inside of Eviltal. It very well can work, but the only reason the Double Dragon would ever work is because of Darkrai EX itself. But it can sort of kind of counter a few things, but it's not optimal inside of Eviltal like Jolteon could be, because you already run DCE. All you have to do is throw in a Rainbow, and Rainbow is multifunctional, guys. All you have to do is attach that thing. It can go anywhere. You can attach it to Eviltal, and then Y-Cyclone it to a Jolteon later, attach a DCE, and go to town on Volcanion. They can't do anything. That is one of the coolest things that I like, and I've actually tried the Jolteon EX inside the decks. It does work to a degree. You just got to make sure that the decks against which you're playing are, actually going to show up at the tournament or whatnot. So those are your tier 1 decks, guys. I'm not going to go too much into detail, about Mega Mewtwo, Mega Rayquaza, Volcanion, nothing like that. You've heard just a bit enough, to know what they do, but they're not the biggest decks about which to worry. It's just the biggest of the biggest is what we want to worry. So, are there any good rogue decks that we can use to, kind of help us out? Unfortunately, there's not a lot. The first one about which I'll talk is Talonflame Garchomp. And the way this deck works is it uses Garchomp from Breakpoint to deal 60 damage and attach a energy from the discard pile to Garchomp, or for 2 energy, does 80 plus 80 of the defeating Pokemon's an EX, if not just 80. But the good thing about this is that it does combo with a strong energy and does a lot of damage. Things like Darkrai and Yveltal cannot stand Garchomp. The only thing is, you do have to worry about resistance on the Fighting Fury about Yveltal. That is the only worry you have as far as those matchups. People say, oh, well, that's a fighting resistance. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a strong energy. As long as you have if you have a strong energy, you shouldn't be in too much of a position to worry. However, with a Fighting Fury Belt 1, then you can't really pump up the damage too much with other sources. It's just going to be, okay, Regirock's not going to put up, an extra 40 damage or extra 50, because you can put up the 10, knock out Yveltal pretty easily. Professor Cook, we could put it up, knock out Yveltal pretty easily. But having to use multiple forms is not going to work. And that's the only thing about what you have to worry. Otherwise, it's a really good strategy. It's very consistent. It requires so few cards to work, aggressively. It's kind of like Greninja, except it doesn't require abilities. It actually physically attacks and can accelerate the board with its attacks. Another deck with which I was playing not too long ago was a really weird Ninetales deck. Now, Ninetales doesn't sound like too much, but one of the cool things about it is kind of like Lapras GX in some sense. But the whole reason I used Ninetales was because I could get myself out of any in-jam, or if I was delinquented or whatnot. I could pretty easily get myself out of it because I ran so few energy. But I also ran Typhlosion from Breakthrough. And one of the coolest things was because I started with 1 and then kind of try to take an acceleration course, and then attach a fire energy when I get my setup to Typhlosion, and then discard top 5, whatnot, and it does 80 times the number of fire energy I discarded. Now, Ninetales probably isn't the best way to run it in this format, but Ninetales was my choice because it can get you out of almost any situation, whereas Talonflame isn't consistent enough where you can hit it every single game. Now, if you ran a 4 Talonflame, 3/3/3, Typhlosion, whatnot, you probably could, but I run so many other cards that have to go with it because I like to get my setup. But of course, like any deck, it's got its advantages, it's got its flaws. One of the things I do with it is I use Energy Recycler, just like with the Togekiss. I use Energy Recycler, get those energy back in the deck, and gives me a better chance, to get those energy when I'm just discarding off the top of the deck. Being able to take 240 damage into a knockout, which is pretty fun for 1 energy, guys. Let me tell you, it's pretty fun. But there's also people who've wondered if the Infernape version works. It doesn't. It's just too bulky. And I'm not even sure that that's going to be. It's a good deck if you can get it to work. I just don't think it's going to work. However, I do have a pretty good rogue deck for you. That's not my secret rogue, of course, because I can't share my secret rogue that I may use at the Roanoke regionals, because you guys know I'm helpful and I'm good, but there are some things I'd like to keep until the actual tournament, just in case I decide to run it, because it's working pretty well right now. But anyway, one of the decks with which I'm working is a Wobbuffet variant. Now, everybody knows Wobbuffet and how its ability, by Barricade, prevents all non-psychic Pokemon from using their abilities. Well, take psychic Pokemon with abilities that can be used, like, say, Golbat. Now, everybody probably knows what Golbat does and whatnot, and and it's got its sneaky bite or something like that, I guess is the name of it. Anyway, you can put damage counters on Pokemon like that. You can also use Team Magma's hidden base, Team Magma's secret base, and you can add damage that way to your opponent's Pokemon. Then you have a Pokemon like Absol from Roaring Skies that can move those damage counters. So, what's going to happen? Well, what happens is you move enough damage to that active Pokemon where you can deal damage with Wobbuffet and knock it out, or start dealing enough efficient damage. Because you have access to things like Max Elixir, you can pump up enough Wobbuffet to do the job. Now, am I going to say that it's absolutely amazing? No. But does it do the job? Yes. I've won many battles against many Tier 1 decks with the deck, and it really does work. And then I guess I'll go ahead and give you another sort of kind of rogue deck. Evolutions. Don't know if it's very rogue or not, but Espeon, 2 Espeon GX, 2 Umbreon GX, one of each of your Ancient Origins evolutions, and that's pretty much your all of your Pokemon except for obviously Shaman EX. And when Tapu Lele GX releases, then I can just do exactly what I was telling everyone else, is just use it and grab supporters and play some more online. So, with all that said, what's going to come with the next set? Well, our Guardians Rising pre-releases were last weekend and this weekend. So, what I've noticed, based on just looking at the format in particular, I just had a few notes. Sorry, guys. That I have my entire list of basically all the cards in the set that I plan on having, in my, I guess we can call it my competitive card pool. I put them in a separate box, just a play set of everything. Unless I put a star next to it, means I'm getting as many as possible. I put them in there so I can, because they're going to build either multiple decks with them, or they're going to be huge trade barter in the future. But anyway, you have cards like Victory Bell. I think it put like 3 special conditions on the Pokemon. Trevenant, I believe, Poltergeist, and if you don't know what that does, it's just look at the Gengar from Stormfront. It was ridiculous. Victini is just basically a reprint of the one from Noble Victories. Oricorio, I'm not exactly sure what that does. I know it was good. The fire one, otherwise I would have never gotten it. Salazzle, I believe when you evolve, the Pokemon is poisoned and burned. And Turtonator GX. This is one of my favorites. Turtonator GX is going to be paired with Volcanion, guys, and it's going to make a splash. It's going to spark some interest. Well, it's going to turn up the heat in the format. Let's go with a theme for that, because it is a fire type. But anyway, with Turtonator GX, its first attack is going to be heavily used, but its main use is its GX attack early game, to allow a supporter card, Hollow, which I'll get to later. But its GX attack allows you to search or take 5 fire energy from your discard pile and attack with your Pokemon any way you like. Pretty cool. Alolan Sandslash's ability to draw a card, and its attacks switches Pokemon your bench Pokemon. You can use it in conjunction with Wobbuffet and Bide Barricade when it comes to your turn. Have a Float Stone attached to it. Retreat it. Now you can use all your abilities and what. Now you can use all their draw abilities. Draw, stuff like that. Vigavolt GX. The only reason we're using this is with its ability, basically, I believe when you play it down, you can move as many light energies as you want to it, and then move it in your active spot. I believe that's how it works, and then kids for 130 for 3, or want to say 160 or 200, I forget. For its GX attack, it's pretty good. But the ability is the reason why people would want it. The Garbodor. Like I was telling people, the Garbodor is going to break open the format. I've already called Garbodor from this set to be one of the decks in the World Championship Finals. And the reason I say that is because the deck is without a doubt one of the best attacks I've ever seen in this format. I was hoping they'd slow the format down completely, but this card completely breaks every rule of that, like allowed, because after opponent's first or second turn, Garbodor for 1 energy is swinging for about 200 damage or more, which is ridiculous. Ultra Balls, VS Seekers, Trainers Medals, Acrobikes if you play them, Spirit Links may be discarded. You have other tool cards like Floatstones, Fighting Fury Belts, I don't know, XP shares, whatnot. All of these cards are getting thrown away, just to be used at some point. Sometimes they're not even used. And then all of a sudden, Garbodors swing 20 times the number of items in your opponent's discard pile for 1 psychic energy. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, of course, I'm going to have the deck as a side deck in case I want to run it. But that Garbodor, I've got it starved. That's where I'm grabbing as many as I can, because it will be so good in the future, guys. I promise you, it's not going to go down in value. It is that good of a card. Of course, unless something for some reason returns all your opponent's items to their deck and shuffles them, or your opponent can shuffle their items back in their deck, which probably will never happen, because that's why they banned Lysander's Trump card, was because of that. And then we got the POW Oricorio. Not exactly sure what it did. I know it had some ability that was pretty good. I don't remember exactly what it was. Toxapex GX. The only reason anyone's going to play this is an expanded format for its second attack. 3 psychic. Defending Pokemon's poison. Put 10 damage counters between turns. You can use Verbeck City Gym, so that way you can knock out a Decidueye GX coming in back into your turn. And then play Dragolgi from Flash Fire on your bench. Poison Pokemon can't retreat. And at the same time, if you like, you can throw any one of their Pokemon, try to do some locks or stall or anything else. Slowking can do well in this sense. You can throw up a Vileplume somewhere. You could sky's the limit, guys. I mean, do what you want with Toxapex GX, but I'll tell you how I run it in training is basically I'll proxy the deck. I know what the cards do, so I'll write on the back of a magic land or whatnot what the card's name is, and then I'll just put it in the sleeve, play that way. That's how I do stuff, until I'm sure, okay, now I want to play it online, see how it runs. Runs well, we're going to play it in real life. So the way I played it was virtually Toxapex GX. I had my Max Elixirs on the basic evolution form. Forget its name. But anyway, what happens is I can Max Elixir on my first turn or whatnot onto it, or I can do it the second turn. Whatnot. I just need 1 Max Elixir and the free attachment per turn. So once I get that one, go into turn 2, I'll attach the third energy, get the Toxapex GX, attack, get that 10 damage going. Now, the one thing that I will stress is that Dragolgi makes the deck so much more functional. Even with things like Keldeo and whatnot, you can still afford to do this. And even if Keldeo becomes a problem, you can throw in Garbodor. It's not like anything's going to stop you from opting out of Dragolgi if your opponent's just going to throw out Keldeo, because at that point, they're afraid of Lysander. Because that's the whole point of Keldeo, so you can virtually just Lysander something, or you can play Sarosic or Team Flare Chronic, get rid of that double colorless energy. They can't retreat, whatnot, bring them up. 10 plus 2 with Burbank City Gym or whatnot. So a basic without a Fighting Fury Belt, deal 10 damage between turns, come back in here, deal 10, they're knocked out, stuff like that. So look for Toxapex GX in the expanded format in the future. Mimikyu's okay, forget what it does. Delmise, forget what it does. I think that one's the metal type Pokemon do more damage. Tapu Lele GX, basically a Lysander on an ability. I like this card a lot and should be played with decks with Devolution Spray values. And when I say that, probably something like Evolutions would probably best benefit this deck because at points you're going to want to devolve because you can find points where you go against or your opponent can Ninja Boy into a different Pokemon, giving you room to Devolution Spray into an Umbreon, Devolution Spray into an Espeon, whatnot. And I've done that before because, that's how the deck's supposed to work. Same thing with Ancient Origins Evolutions. You can play the Evolution down at the moment, and it's not gonna help you in any way, shape, or form to have it up active. Opponent Lysanders, all you have to do is Devolution Spray, bring it, put the next one down. Now you've got an attacker with energy and not with the wrong energy, But anyway, Lycanroc. I'm thinking Lycanroc GX. Sorry, Lycanroc GX. That's what I'm thinking. I'm sorry, guys. Lycanroc GX is probably one of the better abilities we're going to have besides Tapu Lele in the format. The next Pokemon is going to be Sudowoodo, but it's just a bad Parallel City, guys. I just get it just for if Parallel City rotates. I don't think it will, but if it rotates next year, then at least I'll have some way to do it in case I need to do so. I put down Machamp, but that's just for Machoke. Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick for Machoke in an expanded format could be somewhat useful. Lunala, I forget what it does, but I'm sure it's good. We already know what Tapu Lele GX does, so I'm not even going to go over it, guys, because I already told you guys. Let's say this. You can grab any one supporter with its ability once you drop it, and its attack is 20 times the number of energy types to both active Pokemon. It's just the best card in the format. Trust me when I say get as many as you can, because that card is going to be broken forever. They're not going to ban it because it's not overpowered. It's just that it's going to be overplayed. Minior, forget what it does. Sableye, I think it's force your opponent out of supporters, or they can't play supporters. Absol, I think, is knock out a Pokemon on your opponent's after your opponent's turn ends. Or the defending Pokemon's knocked out at the end of your opponent's next turn. Metagross, I'm not badly wrong, is the GX. It had some GX attack that did so well, but I liked one of the other. I like an ability. I think the ability was for a Pokemon or energy, but it was pretty good. I noticed it. Solgaleo, 170 can't use the attack next turn. You can use Solgaleo GX, and you can use its you can use that ability to swap out Floatstone, whatnot. You could choice ban the baby Solgaleo or whatnot. Just attack, go to town. Whimsicott, forget what it does. Sylveon GX can be a backup attacker in the evolutions. Of course, it's probably not going to be your best bet, but it does do some damage. Comfey, not exactly sure what it does. Goodra, forget. Drump, I believe, is attaching energy in some way, shape, or form. Drumpa GX. GX attack shuffle, draw 10. I believe that's the only reason we'd ever run it, because it's really not that good. Other than that, Rayquaza, I believe, is 2 energy from the deck onto one of your bench Pokemon. Beware, I forget what it does, but I obviously was drawn to it for some reason. And then all of the trainers, I'm not going to go over all of them. You guys can find all this information on Pokebeach. Obviously, I'm going to have all the trainers. The only ones which I have starred are Aqua Patch and Choice Band. But I would keep a fairly hefty number of Hala around you, because it's going to be put in every deck that runs AGX an attacker, generally. But generally, the ones that run a GX attack early game they're going to be the ones who run Hala instead of in. And even if they play in, that's only a one-of. Because in at that point is disruption. It's not a helpful refresh at the same point Hala is. Whereas some people would argue in can be used turn one as well. That's why they play it. That really doesn't matter because generally you're going to run into Sycamore more times than not because every deck plays Shaman. And even if you don't play Shaman, you have easy access to supporters via Ultra Ball, Tapa, Lele GX. So, either way, guys. Oh, God, I'm sorry. It's 40 minutes, guys. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Like I said before, it's going to probably be about a week after Roanoke before you'll see, quality videos come up. I may post something between here and then, but who knows? I will tell you this, if you're going to Roanoke Regionals, more than likely I'm going to see you there if nothing else, comes up between then, now and then. Cause, today's Tuesday, April 25th, the, racetrack, unlimited refill cups come out at, 5 a.m. Tomorrow, so that's Wednesday the 26th, so I'm going to get as many of them as I can. I got my alarm set and everything, 4:45, so I can get there at 5 when they start to stock them. So, but anyway, yeah, guys, that's all I got. I don't want to keep you here any longer, so if you subscribe, make sure to subscribe. That's actually a pretty good thing because at that point you'll know when my videos start to release for the TCG, the good TCGO videos, whatnot. Because I'm going to start coming out with them. I'm going to get helpful hints on how to do that, whatnot between now and then. Subscribe, make sure to subscribe, post any comments you have in the comment section down below. And that includes if you want to see something before then, say you need help with your deck or you want to know more about this and you think everybody else does too, whatnot, just go ahead and shoot a comment. And if the comment's approved, I'll post it. Sometimes the comments, aren't, they're not G-rated because I like to keep most of this G-rated because, some kids do want to come and learn to play the game better, just like all the adults do. And I'm here for everybody, obviously, so, and a lot of parents would get mad if, I started telling this story with this, and all that. But, anyway, so, if you have any comments, post in the comment section down below. Email me if you have any questions, or anything that you don't want posted or shared publicly. And as always, hope you guys had as much fun as I've had. I'll see you guys next time. Shifty's Club.